After the smoke cleared from the 2008 financial crisis, the world was eager to believe a simple story: that the collapse had been extraordinary, that it was caused by rare mistakes, reckless individuals, and a perfect storm of bad decisions. Most importantly, we were told it would never happen again. Banks were fined, new regulations were announced, politicians promised reform, and the global financial system, we were assured, had learned its lesson. But history doesn't work that way, because financial systems don't truly change after a crisis. They don't become safer, they become more sophisticated. In the years following 2008, central banks took unprecedented action. Interest rates were slashed to near zero. Trillions of dollars were injected into the economy through stimulus programs and asset purchases. The goal was stability. The result was dependency. Cheap money reshaped the global economy. Debt became normalized, and risk slowly lost its meaning. Corporations didn't use this money to innovate or expand production. Instead, they borrowed heavily to buy back their own shares, inflating stock prices and executive bonuses. Markets climbed higher and higher, not because value was being created, but because money was abundant. This created the illusion of strength. But underneath the surface, fragility was quietly growing. Traditional banks, once blamed as the villains of 2008, were no longer the only risk holders. A new financial ecosystem flourished beyond the reach of regulators. Shadow banking exploded. Hedge funds, private equity firms, structured credit vehicles, complex investment products that operated in the dark, away from public scrutiny. Risk didn't disappear, it migrated. Derivatives became even more complex. Leverage returned, dressed in new terminology and wrapped in sophisticated models that promised safety. And once again, confidence replaced caution. At the same time, governments accumulated historic levels of debt. Public spending surged. Deficits widened. Central banks expanded their balance sheets to sizes once considered unimaginable. In effect, central banks became the backbone of the financial system. Markets learned a dangerous lesson. Whenever trouble appeared, intervention followed. This belief that collapse would always be prevented changed behavior across the entire system. Investors took bigger risks. Institutions stretched further. Losses felt temporary, while gains felt guaranteed. This is how moral hazard becomes invisible. When success is rewarded and failure is rescued, discipline fades. Risk becomes someone else's problem, and the system grows increasingly fragile, not because of chaos, but because of confidence. Then the shocks returned. Global trade tensions disrupted supply chains. A pandemic froze entire economies overnight. Governments responded the only way they knew how: more stimulus, more debt, more intervention. Once again, the system survived, but survival came at a cost. Inflation surged after years of suppressed interest rates. The cost of living climbed, savings lost value, and inequality widened further. Those with assets adapted. Those without fell behind. Technology accelerated everything. Markets now move at machine speed. Algorithms trade in milliseconds. Capital flows globally at the click of a button. What once took weeks to unravel can now collapse in hours. And yet, the same fundamental questions remain unanswered. Who truly bears the risk? Who pays when the system fails? And how much leverage can exist before confidence turns into panic? Because financial crises don't announce themselves. They don't arrive with warnings or countdowns. They build quietly, hidden beneath optimism, innovation, and growth. History teaches us this over and over again. When debt becomes cheap, leverage expands. When risk feels controlled, exposure increases. When everyone believes the system is safe, it is often at its most dangerous. The next crisis will not look like 2008. It won't start with subprime mortgages or housing defaults. It will come from somewhere new, somewhere overlooked, somewhere everyone assumed was under control. And when it does, the world will once again ask the same question it always does after the collapse. How did we not see this coming? This is Cash and Chronicles, where money, power, and history collide.